They might be playing a Dedenne because they just got their Fan of Waves. Oh no, Gale Thrust. There we go. Okay, I might just reset my... Might be smarter to reset my Alcremie because we have Rose anyways. They might shuffle our hand though. I'll use Adornment on the second turn. I just want to do it. Let's just do it. What the heck? We'll use Adornment on the second turn because we can actually knock it out with one hit now. That's like insane.
Ready?
They should have attached that last one to the active Lapras. Like, what are they doing? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All we need is 6. Knocked out a VMAX for 3 prize cards. Hello everybody, welcome back to Bearware the Terrible. Today we have a new standard deck for you called the Furious Frosting. In this deck we are featuring our Red Velvet Supreme Alcremie VMAX from Champion's Path, with the GMAX Whisk attack allowing you to do 60x damage for each energy card you discard from your Pokemon. You get to discard any amount of energy cards attached to your Pokemon in any way you like, and you also get to do that means you get to do an unlimited amount of damage with your GMAX Whisk. So this is a very powerful attack where you get to knock out a VMAX with one hit. Obviously, you need to think about a way of charging up your Pokemons, all of your Pokemons with as much energy as fast as you can. That is why we are trying to use our Adornment as fast as we can. We have no other way of charging up our Pokemon with energy cards. I tried using this card with, I tried the combo with Colossal from Shot and Shield with Tar Generator ability. But Colossal is a stage 2 and Tar Generator works really well because it attaches, the ability attaches energy cards from your discard pile. So immediately after using your GMAX Whisk, on your next turn you get to do another GMAX Whisk because you get to immediately reattach those energy cards from your discard pile and then discard them all over again. So reattach, discard, you get to do GMAX Whisk every turn. A max of at least 240 damage every turn. So if you have Rose, you get to do even more. So Rose is the strongest card in this deck, but we also have Cheryl as well. So we are not playing Colossal. Instead of using Colossal, we are trying to use Adornment as fast as we can, and then GMAX Whisk, and then after that Adornment all over again, and then GMAX Whisk. So how do we use Adornment, GMAX Whisk, and Adornment before Alcremie VMAX gets knocked out? We do that with our Cheryl, because after using your GMAX Whisk, if it's still alive, if your Alcremie VMAX is still alive, if it's not knocked out yet, then you get to use Cheryl to max heal it and then attach an extra energy from your hand to do Adornment. And then on your next turn, if they Crushing Hammer you, you still get to use Rose and attack with GMAX Whisk. So that's how important this Rose card is. If they use Crushing Hammer, you get to use Rose and immediately attack with your GMAX Whisk because it's only 2 energy attack costs, so you don't need much. And Rose also allows you to add those extra damage to your GMAX Whisk because it is 2 extra energy. That means it's 120 extra damage. So how do we fill up our bench spot? Because in order to use our Adornment, we need to fill up our bench spot for a max of 5 bench Pokemon. We do that with a lot of Crobat Vs, with a lot of Dedenne-GXs, and with a lot of Jirachis. So these are our supporting cards with abilities that allow us to draw cards fast, draw out our cards that we need, our trainer cards. And we also have a Tornadus, a basic Tornadus with Jet Drop and Air Slash, allowing us to hit Decidueye or Altaria that protects them from, Pokemons that protects our opponent from V cards and GX cards. So we get to destroy those decks with our Tornadus, because Tornadus only requires 3 energies to do 120 damage, but you need to discard an energy with Air Slash. And we get to use Adornment to fast charge our Tornadus and maybe knock out a bench Dedenne or Crobat V before we use our Tornadus to knock out their Decidueye or their Altaria. So that's how we are planning to go about, knocking out, destroying defeating a Decidueye Altaria deck. So we also have 2 Boss Order, 2 Cheryls, and 2 Roses. Those are our star cards, the main super strong cards for this deck. Boss Order only 2 Cheryls and only 2 Rose, but if they show up at the right time, it can do a lot. It can give you a huge advantage. So we also have 2 Marnies and 1 Bird Keeper. So that's our only supporter cards. It's not a lot, but we have enough Pokemon with abilities that allow us to draw cards, so we don't need that many supporter cards. We have 4 switch cards. We have 1 Bird Keeper, 2 switches, and 1 Escape Rope to allow us to switch out Jirachi into our Alcremie VMAX so that we get to do our adornment by our second turn. That's what we want to do. Adornment by the second turn so that we get to do GMAX Whisk as fast as possible. Otherwise, we can't do it in time for a VMAX knockout for the win. We need to knock out a VMAX by our third turn. Otherwise, it's really difficult for your Alcremie VMAX to win a game. So we also have 4 Quick Balls and 4 Sonias to set up our bench as fast as we can, because we need to fill up our bench spot, as I said, completely max full to be able to use your adornment on your second turn. So that is our challenge. The first challenge is to have your Alcremie VMAX at the active spot by your second turn. The second challenge is to fill up your bench spot, and the third challenge is to have an Psychic Energy, obviously. Well, that's not much of a challenge, but it is Star Energy. That means you get to attach Weakness Guard Energy and use your adornment before you worry about charging it up for GMAX Whisk, because GMAX Whisk is 2 Psychic Energies. So that means you can't, if you have a Weakness Guard Energy, you can't attack on your next turn unless you get your Rose, and we only have 2 Roses. That means we have to rely on Jirachi to get out our Rose card. So if they play metal types, it's actually a bit difficult for us. It's a bit more tight because you need your Weakness Guard Energy attached to your Alcremie VMAX, and you also need 2 extra Psychic Energies to be able to attack. So that's a bit more difficult, but it's still possible, you know, it's still possible. So obviously you can even use adornment and then attach an extra Psychic Energy to your bench Alcremie, and then evolve and switch to your bench Alcremie to attack. But obviously then if you do that, then your Alcremie would be will have no protection from weakness. That bench Alcremie, the new Alcremie, will have no Weakness Guard Energy attached to it. So that's the bad thing about Weakness Guard Energy, is that it does not provide Psychic Energy. So we also have 3 Evolution Incense and 1 Pokemon Communication to get out our Alcremie VMAX as fast as we can. We are playing quite a lot of Pokemon cards. We are playing 15, I think. Let me check. 14 Pokemon cards. That means Pokemon Communication is not that bad. It's better to have 15 Pokemon cards if you are playing Pokemon Communication, 20 or more if you are playing 2 or more Pokemon Communications. So 1 Pokecom for 14 Pokemon cards is not bad. And we also have 3 Evolution Incense and Jirachis to get out our Evolution Incense to evolve as fast as we can by our second turn, because that is what we need to do to be able to do GMAX Whisk as fast as we can. 14 basic Psychic Energies and 4 Energy Recyclers. We don't need that many basic Psychic Energies. That's because we are not intending on using Adornment twice. We're intending on using Adornment, GMAX Whisk, and then recycle those energy cards before doing our second Adornment. That is why we have 4 Energy Recyclers. And then 1 Piers as well to get out our Crobat V, and then to get out our Weakness Guard Energy as well, because that is super important if they are playing Zacian, if they are playing Corviknight VMAX decks. And we also have, I think that's it, 3 Alcremies and 3 Alcremie VMAXs, 2 Dedennes, 2 Crobat Vs, 2 Jet Drafts, 2 Tornadus, and 2 Jirachis. So Jirachi is not a really good card because you have to switch it out. Before I decided on Jirachi, decided to add Jirachi to this deck, I actually have Kricketune V instead. But Kricketune V is not good because you need to empty your hand before you get to draw your cards, and you only get to draw until you have 3 cards in your hand. If it's in your active spot, you get to draw until you have 4, but that's not a lot. It's only up to 4. So Kricketune is actually quite difficult if you don't have a Galarian Meowth. If you play a Galarian Meowth, then you actually get to discard your hand, discard those unimportant cards and draw more cards that you need into your hand. So Galarian Meowth Kricketune V is a good combo, but Galarian Meowth is a 2 energy retreat cost card. So 2 energy retreat costs is bad because they could boss order it and you have to bring out your switch card. All our Pokemons in this deck are 1 energy retreat cost, except for Alcremie VMAX and Alcremie. But we can't do anything about that because that is our attacking card. So other than that, all other cards are only 1 energy retreat cost. I keep it that way because I'm trying to save my switch cards. I'm trying to save my Bird Keeper switch and escape ropes for only my Alcremie VMAX. Only this card needs to retreat with Bird Keeper. Only Jirachi and Alcremie VMAX needs to retreat. So it needs to switch out from the active spot. So we are reserving our switch cards only for Jirachi and Alcremie VMAX. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's all for this deck. I don't want to go on too long. It's pretty basic actually. We're trying to attack with VMAX Whisk and attach energy as fast as we can with adornment, and then recycle our energy, maybe Cheryl before our second adornment, and then recycle and adornment again, and VMAX Whisk again. So it seems very basic, but it's actually quite difficult to build a deck from this card because you need a lot of supporting cards. You need a lot of ways to get around your metal weakness, to attach energy fast enough, to fill up your bench spot. A lot to think about. So let's go ahead for gameplay. Today's music is Vexento Mix. So no copyright music from Bryce Fab. If you want to check out their channel, go ahead. They feature good music, no copyright music. Vexento is a good name as well. It's no copyright as well. So check out Vexento's music if you want to feature them in your videos. If you want to go for live streams with your music. Sorry, if you want to search music for live streams. So let's go ahead for gameplay with no copyright music. I'm not sure what style we have today. I think it's just like random styles. So we are using our Furious Frosting deck, featuring the Alcremie VMAX from Champion's Path. Not a very popular card. People prefer, people are crazy about the Gardevoir VMAX, but they are not crazy about Alcremie VMAX. I'm not sure why. Because Gardevoir VMAX is the only VMAX card that lets you heal, but Alcremie VMAX is the only VMAX card that lets you discard energies. That does unlimited damage. Obviously, every VMAX card has a very unique attack, a GMAX attack that is super unique. Scorch VMAX, an attack that you have never seen before, that no other Pokemon has. And what do you call that? Victini VMAX as well. Flapple VMAX, all very unique attacks, unique effects as well. So you don't get other Pokemons having the same attack as those VMAX cards. So they are playing a Frostmoth Lapras VMAX deck. All we need to do is knock out 2 Lapras VMAXs, maybe knock out the Frostmoth before they charge their Lapras. That would be a smart thing to do. So let's discard our Weakness Guard because we don't need that anymore. Might be better to get a Jirachi for a Sonia. Oh, we don't have a Jirachi. Wow. I'm just gonna get a Dedenne here because we got quite a bad hand. No point charging our Tornadus because they are not playing special energies. There we go. We got our basic Pokemons. We got a Crobat. We already played a Dedenne, so let's play 2 Alcremies actually. Better to get 2 Alcremies, that way you get to charge 1 at the bench with your adornment. I'm not gonna use that. I'm gonna use my switch on my next turn. Hopefully we get another basic card, maybe a Tornadus, a Dedenne. Let's just end the turn. If they don't Marnie us, then it's like a perfect hand now. If they don't Marnie. We have 3 basic energy cards in the discard pile. So I tried this deck in the. I actually make some changes before I shoot this video. So in sorry, an original version of this deck has like 17 basic energy cards. So that's like way too many basic energy cards. I switched them for a few supporter cards, a few extra supporter cards, and a few energy recyclers, which actually make this deck very, very much better. So that original version, the initial version, I used it for a, I went to a tournament for it. So I used it for the Limitless TCG tournament, and I got a lot of losses with that deck. So upon afterthought, I realized that, you know, this deck is just, Alcremie VMAX is just not a really strong card, because they could be playing Urshifu. If they're playing Urshifu, then you have a high chance of winning. But if they're playing like Zacian ADP, then it's really difficult, because it needs way too many things. Unless your deck is like really, really strong. I tried my best. Like, this is the best that I can do. 14 energy cards is better. 14 basic energy cards with 3 weakness guard energies. 1 Piers to get out that weakness guard. They already have 5 energies. Wow. 5 energies attached to their Lapras. Okay, we have to be careful now, because they can actually knock out our Alcremie VMAX with 1 hit on the next turn. They need 3 more energies. 3 more water energies to knock out our Alcremie VMAX Ocean Loot. I think they retreat. Oh, they put it back into their hand. Okay, interesting. No worries. We get to Cheryl if we are lucky. I'm gonna attach to that one. You never know if they have crushing hammers, you know. Training card. Wow. No point using training card. I'm just gonna shuffle it back into the deck. We have to use that Dedenne. It might actually be smarter to use a Crobat. I should have used that switch just now. Let's just use the Dedenne. Because Crobat only gets you 4 cards, you might not even get another basic. So we get to use Crobat now. Let's use Crobat the next turn actually. Let's see what we can get with our Sonia. Crobat and that one. Let's just get 1 Crobat. Discard that one. And then draw 4 cards. There we go. That looks nice. Okay, now adornment all 5 of our bench Pokemons. Decorate, max decorate. So Alcremie, the non-VMAX Alcremie from Sword and Shield, the stage 1 Alcremie has the decorate attack, allowing you to attach as many energy cards from your hand to your Pokemon in any way you like. So that is the Alcremie non-VMAX card from Sword and Shield. It has the matching attack with this VMAX card. Sort of the same as adornment, but sort of different as well. Because adornment allows you to attach from your deck to your bench Pokemon, to each of your bench Pokemon 1 psychic energy card. Psychic, Ghost, or Fairy. So this is actually a Fairy type, Fairy purple type. They need 3 more energy cards, as I said. 8 energies to be able to knock us out with 1 hit. I should have attached my Psychic to my second Alcremie to prepare for the knockout, because it's not that difficult for them to knock us out with 1 hit. They can just Air Balloon, evolve, and we're done. But we can knock them out with 1 hit as well, and they're gonna have to worry about their next Lapras, worry about charging, getting out their energies. Maybe have a Nessa. They probably have a Nessa in their deck. They could be playing Alcremie, they could be playing Dedenne or Crobat V. We have a Cheryl. So they better watch out actually. Probably gonna knock us out with one hit though. Like, they need one more energy and a switch card. A Dedenne, oh my gosh. There we go. They need one more energy. All they need is one energy. Oh, they have a training card though. I don't think they used their training card yet. So they could actually, oh, no energy in their discard pile. Oh, thank God. I think that's it. I think that's all the energies they have in their deck. Haha. Because they are playing 2 stage 1s. If you're playing 2 stage 1 in your deck, you need like way too many spaces. All spot filled. So I'm gonna adornment again because they just passed the turn not doing anything. That's just annoying. How many psychic energy cards? I think it's just 1. Yep. So I'm gonna put that down again. Let's check our deck. See if we have 3 more. Only 3. So there's not much point using adornment. Let's just use this as a recycler. So that we get to attach 4. 1, 2. Let's attach to Crobat because it has a higher HP. Not sure which one I should attach to, Dedenne or Crobat. Doesn't really matter because both will get knocked out by GMAX Pump 180 base damage. They can't knock us out with 1 hit. I'm trying to lure their Lapras out. They want me to knock out something first. There we go. Even if they have that extra energy card, it's gonna be difficult for them because they're gonna have to recycle their energy cards from their discard pile. There we go. They have the extra now. Okay, we better be careful. They need like 4. Oh my gosh, they need 3 left. Oh, they didn't knock us out. That was silly. That was just silly. That was very silly. They should have attached that last one to the active Lapras. Like, what are they doing? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All we need is 6. Knocked out a VMAX for 3 prize cards. Oh, we should have discarded. I made a mistake there. We should have discarded from our active Alcremie. Always discard from this one because it's gonna get knocked out anyways. Always discard your active one. But they could just boss order my bench one and knock out my bench, but it's not likely for them to do that. They could still do that though. If they knock out my bench Alcremie and I have no energy left, then I'm gonna have to rely on Rose, which is not a good deal. We have 6 energies on the next turn. They're done. Unless they have Crushing Hammer, they're done. Dude, that was close. Well played. We don't even need a rose now. I'm just gonna put that. Where is our rose though? We have one last rose. There we go. Okay, G-Max Whisk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was really close. Even if they knock out our first one, we still get to hit twice because they can't knock out the second one unless they recycle their energy fast enough. They can only draw an extra one with their training card, and they need to do a double switch to be able to reattach with their Frostmoth. So that's the tricky part about a Lapras VMAX Frostmoth deck. You need to switch a lot of times. Actually, they only need to switch once. If they have a one switch, they can retreat with the air balloon. But if you have a tool scrapper, then they're gonna have to do a double switch. So let's go for our second game with Furious Frosting. I had another variation of this deck. I added Chandelier. Chandelier from Rebel Clash has the ability that protects all of your Pokemon that has any energy cards attached to it from weakness. So all Pokemons with energy attached to it on your battlefield has no weakness. So that deck, I called it the Melted Icing because it features Alcremie VMAX and the Fire type Chandelier, and I'm actually using Chandelier to attack as well. So that deck is a bit, it's quite bad because I have fire energies in that deck as well. So you don't get to use adornment a lot of times. You only get to use it once or twice, and even then you might not even get all 5 energies in your deck because I have fire energies in my deck. In addition, just to do extra damage. You don't need a lot of fire energies though. You only need like 5 or 4 in your deck because Chandelier requires 1 fire energy and 1 colorless to do 110 damage to knock out a Altaria or Decidueye with 1 hit. So that's the main weakness for Alcremie VMAX deck. You're not only weak against metal type, you have to think about getting around your weakness towards metal type. You have to think about fighting against defeating the Decidueye Altaria deck as well, because we are playing all VMAX here. We are only playing our Alcremie VMAX card. So I need to get my Sonia out. I'm gonna play that Energy Recycler. Let's get that one first, actually. We don't need to play Energy Recycler. But we may need to discard Cheryl though. They're playing Rapid Strike Urshifu. Rapid Strike something. So we got an Evolution Incense. Let's just get Quick Ball just to see what happens. Might have been smarter to get a switch. Sorry about that. Because switch lets us do it the next turn. Let's discard the Cheryl because we don't need it now. I have a good mind to just discard everything. But I'm gonna do that one, whatever. Would have been smarter to save that. Oh my god. Oh well. So we draw 4 with our Crobat, that's fine. We got Sonia as well, that's good. So we get Jet Draft down. We got a Dedenne for next turn. Got a Rose, 2 Roses. Rose always showed up back to back. I'm not sure why. It's a very bad deal for you to have 2 roses turning up in your hand because you have to discard the other one if you are playing a rose. So they still can't do their rapid flow, that's good. Because they didn't get it in their first turn. I think this is their first turn, I'm not sure. Oh no, it's their second turn. Because we played a supporter card. So we get to evolve. I think we use a recycler, that means we don't get to use rose. We don't need that one. So let's just discard that. Get a Crobat V. We have 1 Alcremie. We have 2 Alcremies already, so let's just discard the second Alcremie for a Crobat V. Hopefully get a Marnie, because Marnie will save our second rose. We don't even need rose right now. We might be smarter to get a Bird Keeper, because we haven't played a supporter card. Sorry about that. So please give us a switch. Oh man. Cheryl. Okay, we have to retreat the next turn. Let's hope we flip aheads with sleep, because we only have 4 switch cards in this deck. So Jirachi is actually a bit annoying because you need your switch cards, and they get to do rapid flow now. That's very scary. Hopefully they do Gale Thrust first. They could even boss order knockout our Crobat. So that's how dangerous this card is. But if they don't have Jirachi GX, we get to knock it out by only discarding 3 cards. All we need is to discard 3 Psychic Energies, 3 Fairy Energy cards, and they're done. Urshifu VMAX is knocked out. Fan of Waves. They might be playing a Dedenne because they just got their Fan of Waves. Oh no. Gale Thrust. There we go. Okay, I might just reset my... Might be smarter to reset my Alcremie, because we have Rose anyways. They might shuffle our hand though. I'll use Adornment on the second turn. I just want to do it. Let's just do it. What the heck? We'll use Adornment on the second turn because we can actually knock it out with 1 hit now. That's like insane.
Ready?
So oh, that's a Empoleon. I thought that was an Urshifu. So we don't need to worry much now. Because they don't have an Urshifu, they don't have a V Urshifu on their bench. So they can't do Rapid Flow. Even if they do Rapid Flow, they need a boss order. They need to boss order our Crobat and Rapid Flow to strike 3 prize cards for a good deal. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a good deal for them. So they are searching for their Urshifu V. Rapid Strike. Sonic Legs. Oh, that's a promo card. 20 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So, in Chilling Reign, there's a new Passimian. A new Passimian from Chilling Reign has the ability that adds an extra 30 damage to your Rapid Strike Pokemon's to your opponent's bench Pokemon. So all of your Rapid Strike Pokemon does 30 more damage to your opponent's bench Pokemon. So it's like a telescopic sight, except it's in ability format, but you don't get to use that ability more than once. More than once at a time. So that means it's like... Let me just think a bit. So that means it's like a second telescopic sight. If you have a Passimian and a telescopic sight attached to your Urshifu VMAX, you get to do 100 and I'm not sure, 180 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. If you decide to strike the active Pokemon though, it's only 120 for the active Pokemon because Passimian's ability is the same as Telescopic Sight. It does not work for the active Pokemon, it only works for bench Pokemon. But it's an extra 30 damage though, that is a lot. So Passimian Telescopic Sight will be a huge boost for Urshifu. Especially when Mew gets kicked out of the standard format. You know, when for the new Sword and Shield format, when all Sun and Moon are no longer valid for standard, then it's gonna be super strong because it's gonna be like overpowered because there's no longer cards in the Sword and Shield format. In the Sword and Shield expansions, there are no cards that protect your bench Pokemon from damage or damage counters. So what are we gonna switch out to? Let's switch out to this one because it's actually resistant towards fighting type. It's a flying type. If they use Rapid Flow or Gale Thrust, they're done. Because we can use Alcremie to knock them out unless they get a Jirachi GX. They need that Jirachi like crazy. No Jirachi. If you're playing Urshifu V, you have to have a Jirachi GX. It's like a must. But it could be in their price card though. So all of our Pokemon only one energy retreat cost. That's how powerful, that's how convenient that is. That allows you to retreat very fast, very easy. You don't need to get out your switch cards. No switches necessary. So now we get to play our Rose as well. We'll just attach to that one because we can. And then Rose for the win. Oh, I didn't check my discard pile actually. I should have checked my discard pile to see if there's basic energy. But we used a Whisk just now. We used a VMAX Whisk on our last turn. So we have to have energy cards in our discard pile since we discarded on our last turn. Unless we use a Recycler. So 840 damage, 420 for 7 discards. So that's it, we won our second game. That's it for our VMAX Whisk deck. Hope you enjoyed our Furious Frosting deck featuring the Alcremie VMAX from Champions Path. The only thing you need to watch out for is the metal type weakness because people love playing Zacian V, they love Corviknight VMAXs. So this card is weak towards metal type, it's a fairy type, and it's only at 310 HP. You also need to watch out for single strike Urshifu VMAX because it is not prepared for one hit knockout. It is not prepared for one blow because one blow can actually knock it out with one hit. If they have 2 single strike energies attached to them, they don't need that much. So if they play single strike Urshifu VMAX, this deck is very have a very low chance of winning unless you get your Rose out fast enough, unless you adorn fast enough and boss order them fast enough before they charge up their Urshifu to knockout, because Cheryl is essentially useless. Throughout the entire game, Cheryl will do nothing because they can knock you out with one hit. We don't have big charms in this deck. We don't have any way of preventing our Alcremie VMAX from being knocked out with one hit. Unless we use Jet Draft, because Jet Draft actually allows us to discard their single strike energy, which is a special energy, but they have Urn of Vitalities. They have like a lot of Urn of Vitalities, so we cannot be relying so much on Jet Draft, which is an attack as well, so it's actually not a good deal. So if they play single strike Urshifu VMAX, we are, we have a very low chance of winning because this deck is just not prepared for it. And Crobat V's Dedenne-GX as well, there's a lot in this deck. That means we are actually allergic to those boss order cards. If they play ADPZ, they can actually boss order to knock out these 2 price cards very easily. That means they can win very easily. All they need is 2 boss order, knock out 2 Dedennes, or 1 or 2, 2 Dedenne, 2 in any combination of Dedennes or Crobat V's, and they win the game. So 2 boss order is all they need because we're actually relying on these 2 price cards to fill up our bench because there are no other there are no better ways to fill up our bench, because these cards not only fill up the bench, it also allows us to draw out our cards, because we don't have spaces for supporter cards in this deck. The reason is because we need a lot of energy cards, and we need a lot of energy recyclers, and a lot of roses, Cheryls, boss orders, and yada yada yada. So a lot of Pokemon cards as well, because we need to fill up our bench. The reason we need 14 psychic energies is because we need to use adornment. To be able to use adornment, we need to have, you know, at least like 10 or 12 energy cards, 10 or 12 psychic energies in the deck, 12 at least. But the reason I add those two is because, you know, just in case I need to use adornment the second time, just in case I got my weakness guard energy first, and I can't attack on my second turn, on the second attack. So on my third turn, I can't attack with GMAX Whisk. If they use Crushing Hammer or something, then at least I get to use adornment a second time for extra energy cards. Otherwise, if you don't have that many energy cards in your deck, then your second adornment will do nothing for you. So that is just an added, an added foresight. It might not be a good foresight, but for me, I prefer to have more energy cards in this deck. It's just a personal preference. So you might find it better to have less energy cards, but I like to have more. I actually had even more before I actually built this to perfection. I had like 17, as I said, 17 psychic energy cards. So a total of 21. A total of 20. So 20 or 21 energy cards for Alcremie VMAX deck. That's just not good, because that's way too many energy cards. You're gonna draw a lot of energy into your hand. You're gonna discard them, end up discarding them with your Dedenne-GX, which is basically, there's no point discarding energies, drawing them, discarding them, and recycling them just for no point, no reason at all. It's better to just attach them to your Pokemon for the discard than to discard them from your hand. So that's why it's better not to have that many psychic energies in your deck. So that's all for this deck. I don't want to go on too long. It's pretty basic. It just features your Alcremie VMAX, Adornment, GMAX Whisk. We are trying to add cards in the deck that boost these two attacks as much as possible. So all other cards in this deck, every other card, are just supporting this card. This is the only attacking card for this deck, the only strong attacker. Obviously, we have our Tornadus and Alcremie V. Sweet Splash does 100 damage for a special effect as well. Your opponent can't attack if they are a basic Pokemon. It's the same as Bubble Hole, except it's 100 damage. So Sweet Splash can do something, but it is 3 energy attack cost, so we are not intending on using it because, we might not need it at all throughout the game. And we also have our Tornadus to attack as well. Tornadus is basically there to fight against Altaria and Decidueye. As I said before, this is the only card that is a non-GX, non-V that you can hit an Altaria and Decidueye with. So this is why this card is here for. This is the only reason this card is here. But obviously Jet Draft is a good attack as well. You get to discard a special energy, a good effect if they rely on Rapid Strike or Single Strike energies. And if you have a Tornadus at the right time, at the right spot, you can just discard their special energies. It's just an added effect, an added boost for you. But obviously, if they play Single Strike, they can use Urn of Vitalities. They can do a lot of things to shuffle those cards back into their deck. So if you're up against Single Strike Urshifu VMAX, it's just like, I'm sorry, but this deck is just not good. But any other decks, this deck has a relatively high chance of winning because Alcremie VMAX does a lot of damage, a crazy amount of damage, unlimited amount of damage. For every discard of your energy, you do 60 extra damage. That is how powerful this card is. It's the strongest fairy type, I would say. But it does not heal your Pokemon. It's not like Gardevoir V where you get to heal. But we do have our Cheryl for that max heal effect. So Cheryl Alcremie VMAX is a good combo, but we don't have big charms, as I said. So if they knock it out with one hit, there's really nothing you can do. I think that's it. So I don't want to go on too long. That's all for this deck. Hope you guys enjoyed our Furious Frosting flavor. So please like, share, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. If you find our videos interesting and entertaining, we'll see you on the next episode. Have fun with this game. Keep exploring new territories. Make your own decks. Build your own versions of powerful decks. and add in your own personality into it. That way you get to have more fun, you get to show off your own originality to other people. And then if you defeat an opponent using your own deck, you're gonna be even, the feeling is gonna be even better. It's gonna be, you know, you're gonna feel more satisfied with the game if you defeat someone with your own deck rather than just copy paste someone else's deck. You know, it's just not fun that way. Obviously, it's good to practice with meta decks. You know, with a lot of meta decks with ADPZ as well, you get to practice the gameplay. But it's better to, you know, add some cards of your own. Don't just like follow everyone else. Like, you know, add your own stuff into it. So I don't want to go on too long. Hope you guys have fun. See you in the next one and have fun with this game. Bye guys!